everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Femtech series by the Tech Tea Podcast. I am Nishtha Gupta, your host, and today I have with me Miss Lakshmi Addaganti. Welcome, ma'am, to the podcast. Thank you for taking out the time. How are you doing today?
Doing very well, thank you.
So let's get started. How does the medicine manufacturing process work? What ingredients are essential, and how does technology support the production side?
Sure. Thank you. So, if I can actually make this more high level to the question that you've asked, the whole medicine manufacturing process involves several key stages. And if I summarize it, there are five critical key stages. What we talk about is R&D, formulations, production, quality control, and distribution. And there is also a little bit of tech transfer that happens between formulation and production as well. And I think a couple of key ingredients that we talk about, especially in this whole manufacturing aspect, is the APIs, what we call it as the active pharmaceutical ingredients, and also the excipients, which enhance the drug stability delivery process. I think one of the key aspects is in all of these five stages of the manufacturing process, right? AI, technology does play a very critical role, and a few of the technologies that I'll list out can be applied to either one of the stages or many of these stages as well. For example, AI and machine learning, can be leveraged at different stages in these different stages of the manufacturing process. But what technically one can relate, one of the key business use cases here, drug discovery process. Leveraging AI will accelerate drug discovery by analyzing vast data sets. So that's one aspect where you can use AI. Then comes your IoT and automation, where you talk about ensuring precision in manufacturing and compliance with the good manufacturing practices. And the third aspect is where you can use is your blockchain, which talks about securing the pharma supply chain and which will ensure that there's a good traceability aspect of it. Over and above all of these technologies, I think what is critical for a technology point is providing the visualization of the insights and transparency, which will help in collaboration, is by leveraging cloud computing and data analytics. And I think what is really vital in all of these cases is we're talking about cybersecurity aspect of it, which will definitely help in in ensuring that the data R&D data sensitivity and intellectual property is protected uniformly. So that's technically in a nutshell, how the whole manufacturing process and technology is leveraged.
Thank you for those insights. There's definitely a lot to unpack here for us. And I'm sure the precision involved in the entirety of the process that we just spoke about must be incredible. You did mention a bit about the cybersecurity part, and I would like to, deep dive into it a bit more. And seeing the
Yeah.
number of increases in the cybersecurity attacks every day, how can CIOs ensure security of sensitive data, IPs, and compliance with regulatory standards?
I think it's just not just with pharma industry, right? All the industries do face the cyber threat of ransom attacks, data breaches, and intellectual property thefts that you were talking about, right? So this definitely makes it as a top priority, from a pharma perspective or a financial market as well. So I think key aspect from a role perspective as a CIO or any of the key leadership position is that they need to ensure the ecosystem by putting physical checks and balances and also having the right, what do you call, the right global standard procedures. For example, you ensure there is a zero trust architecture. What it means is that I have a strict identity verification at every access point. So whatever gets in, I provide a check and balance to do a identity verification. Then comes the aspect of leveraging AI on threat detection, right? I use AI to monitor data flow anomalies and which will technically prevent breaches. And the third aspect is that, which I really need to ensure is, especially from a manufacturing process that we're talking about from this industry point of view, is data encryption and blockchain, which I really talked about in the previous thing about how blockchain is leveraged, right? By ensuring I put in a blockchain and data encryption aspect of it, I'm ensuring I'm securing the sensitive data across the supply chain process. And more important is these are the systems and tools that I'm putting in place. But what is the guiding factor to say what to protect, how to protect, where to protect? And this is again geographic specific as well as having or implementing GDPR, HIPAA, NIS2, and FDA 21 CFR Part 11 standard processes across the globe will help me actually create an ecosystem that is can address any cyber attacks and also create a sustainable model as well. I think one of the other thing which I think I also want to ensure and enforce here is disaster recovery and incident response. Assuming you have all of these, I also need to prepare for a really a tough day, right? So I need to create data backup strategies, cyber attack mitigation plans, which also need to ensure that all of these checks and balances are being tested and ready for a rainy day. I
Hmm.
think one unsaid aspect that, from a CIO's perspective, that we also need to focus is the human factor, right? Additionally, I need a consistent security awareness training, and then strategic vendor risk mitigation or management plan will help reduce any of these vulnerabilities. Yeah.
Thank you for breaking all of that down for us. And I would like to shift the gears here a little bit
Yeah.
to a question that our audience had for you, which is that if AI could design the next breakthrough drug, would you trust it more than your top scientist? Or would you make that, or would you make it something that your teammate does?
I think it goes. I mean, I think this question actually is more in terms with how we are all feeling these days, right? Is AI something that's replacing humans, right? And I think I definitely want to give a very fair and something that I've really experienced is that AI is definitely a teammate, not a competitor, right? If I really talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of it, right? The strength is that AI can process massive data sets, predict molecular structures, and suggest promising drug compounds faster than any human. That's its strength.
Hmm.
However, we have to understand it lacks intuition, ethical consideration, and clinical judgment that a human scientist can bring. The reason I'm saying human scientist is we're talking about humans physically, right? So I'm specifying human scientists here. So the best approach, if given a thing, how organizations should look at it as in a collaborative model, right? Is I leverage AI to analyze my data, which will identify trends, generate hypotheses, while my scientist can actually take this validated data driven insights from an AI tool, conduct the trials, and ensure regulatory compliance. So, this hybrid collaborative approach really will, if I can say, enhance accuracy, speed in drug discovery, ethical decision making process. So, a much more safer and effective ecosystem in creating the medicines. And I think that's how we have to look at it.
Those are very interesting insights again, especially the fact that, since all of us are feeling like, is AI going to take my job? Is that what's going to happen? But actually know that it's just here to make
Yes,
us better at our jobs. It's a teammate. It's a buddy, good buddy to have in your pocket. So,
absolutely.
thank you for that. And we've done a deep dive into the technology world, but Miss Lakshmi, but at the end of the day, technology is built and led by people. And
Mhm.
I know many of our listeners are passionate about seeing more women in leadership roles, especially in the tech space. So, how do you think we can create more opportunities to enhance and promote women's empowerment in the tech industry?
I think very fair question. I think for anyone, right, for that instance, when we're talking about women leadership, let me be more specific to that. I think in all stages of our life, we nearly needed and we have, right, mentor. When we were a child, we have our parents as mentors and friends as mentors. But when it comes to career, right, we do not invest in time in having the right mentorship, right? So what it also means that if you're part of an organization, organizations do have strong programs, but I'm also telling on a more generalistic basis is that organizations should focus a little bit on mentorship and sponsorship programs. If you're an individual, you're a consultant, you're an individual trying to make it big in the industry, then ensure that you have the right mentor, which will eventually lead to a right sponsorship. Until you have a mentor, you don't know what you really need to do. And then comes the aspect of is flexible work policies, which is uniformly across for everyone, but specifically when it comes to women, we do have certain other extra add-on responsibilities. post COVID, organizations have created flexible work policies, hybrid model, and everything. But I think it is just not a one time solution, right? It keeps evolving by the need of the hour. So I think organizations should not get comfortable, but ensure that they consistently evaluate geographic specific, cultural specific work policies that will help in enhancing the women in the industry. And I think what is really discussed about is the equal pay and career growth. So we need to address gender pay gaps and ensuring fair promotion opportunities as well. And this is something I also would want women to take ownership of it also. It is just not the responsibility of the organization only. It is also women to start doing market research and say that, okay, this is where I am, this is what I need. Ask for it, talk about it, and ensure that there's a right among awareness among your own set of friends and colleagues as well. I think all of these solutions or suggestions are for people who are already in the workforce. Let's take one step back. We really need to address young girls, right at the school and the college level. So we need to ensure programs that encourage young children and girls in the STEM education as well,
Definitely very
right?
important.
That's very important. And then of course we do have women leadership initiatives where you are ensuring you're promoting women at the top levels like a CIO, CTO, CEO, CFOs, CXO levels, right? And board level positions. Though their organizations are investing a lot, it is a continuous process. I can definitely say that we are there. It is also the ownership of us to also create that awareness among ourselves. I can definitely tell that.
Well, thank you so much for that. I think it's very, I really resonate a lot with one of the points you just mentioned, that while it's important for organizations to develop more either mentorship opportunities or policies that are fair and are continuously, evolving with according to geographical, they're completely personalized. But it's as women, it's also our responsibility to be owners of our own careers and guide each other as a community to move forward. So I think that's an excellent point. Towards
Right,
the
right.
end, you did mention, the importance of young women to start stepping forward towards STEM and the different things within that. And
Right.
so, if you could give one piece of advice to women entering the IT domain, what would it be?
I think I would stay three parts to it, right? Let's not make it specific to IT, right? Any field for that instance, women in in any of the workforce. If I can rephrase that question, is that okay? For us to have a consistent aspect for women is that you need to be confident in your skills. How can you be? By embracing continuous learning. And I think like you can resonate a lot with this point is assuming you're confident in your skills, you are embracing continuous learning. But what is it that gets you to the next level? You need to build a strong network. Like just like what I said in the previous thing, right? We need to help women among women, is right, helping in our own ecosystem. I think women need to create a strong network. That is something we fail to do, right? And I think how you create the network is very individualistic, is very personal. But I would say no, this is something that we need to work on. Creating a strong network, you have to create a learning roadmap for yourself, and of course, you need to articulate well and not get hustled by your personal aspect of it and bring that as a forefront. You really have to play a dual role in terms with what you want to be professionally and personally, and that's very important is where I think confidence plays a very key role.
Let's all strive to be more confident in our endeavors. Let's take that as, our moral from this podcast.
Yeah.
That brings us to the end of this short but very insightful podcast. Thank you everyone for joining in, and also, ma'am, thank you for taking out the time to be a part of this. Uh,
Thank you so
Alex,
much. Thank you. Really enjoyed your questions. In fact, very well put through and logically structured as well. Thanks.
thank you so much.